As a divorced woman, this is what I wish someone told me before marriage. Number one, don't choose the person you love. Choose the person who loves you. Number two, when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. You can't change them. Number three, don't make him your whole world. Have your own life. When a relationship ends and they were your everything, your whole life comes crumbling down. Number four, never quit your job or your career for any man.
Marriage is a beautiful thing, they say. Get married, be with somebody, have a partner. But sometimes we need to really sit down and think this thing through. Do we want to get married? Is it what we really want? So guys, today's video is about a couple of women who were once married saying things they wish they knew before getting married. So let's just dive into the video. But before we do, thank you so much for coming back, and please do not hesitate to subscribe and leave your like and comment. Let's get into this video.
I'm almost 28 and divorced, and this is what I wish I knew. First of all, I don't think that anyone should be getting married before 27. I don't think that anyone's personalities or identities or frontal lobes are developed until then anyway. So I said what I said. Don't do it. I also don't think that men are psychologically ready for marriage until like their mid-30s, probably well into their 40s if I'm completely honest. So it's just insane to me that anyone would agree to marry a man in their 20s. That's neurotic to me. I've met men in their 20s. I wouldn't do it. I also highly discourage changing your name legally. I changed mine socially, so I went by my husband's last name out in society and on social media and on my LinkedIn and my website and all of that, Christmas cards, but I never actually changed it legally. I fully intended to at the beginning, but just never went through with the paperwork. And then once it came around time for separation and divorce, I was really grateful that I never did that. This is the biggest thing I tell young girls especially, is that there doesn't need to be like this big dramatic reason to leave. And this, I guess, applies to marriages and just regular relationships as well. But like, you don't need that big dramatic reason to leave. If you're unhappy or no longer aligned with the relationship or the person you're in the relationship with, like, just go. Flip the table. Reinventing your entire identity and starting an entirely new life is way easier than staying in a life you hate or are not aligned with for the rest of your life. And lastly, particularly for women, you have to make sure that you're protecting yourself, especially financially. So make sure that you have access to money that is yours and yours alone. Make sure that if you're walking into a situation where you're not working, you have some sort of legal protections for that. If you're giving up your entire career, make sure you're protected. That will look different for everyone, but I know not everyone walks into a marriage thinking of the end, but you should, frankly. Way too many people get married because they're super in love and they want a wedding, and that's frankly not the purpose of marriage. Marriages are business decisions. So, hate to burst your bubble, but you're gonna learn one way or another.
At the age of 54 and 2 divorces later, let me give you the marriage advice I wish that I had listened to. Love is not enough. Marry for character, not just chemistry. You're not just marrying them, you're marrying their habits, their debt, and their family drama. Marriage will never fix loneliness. The wrong person will make it worse. You can't marry potential. You're not a life coach, you're a spouse. Being alone is way better than wishing you were. The right person will make you feel safe. The wrong one will make you feel small. We'll figure it out is not a financial plan. Some people don't want love. They want control. Learn the difference. You should be excited to marry them, not just relieved that they finally committed. Be prepared to marry the whole family. Period. Hope that helps.
Something I really wish I knew when it came to choosing a husband is that a man who procrastinates his dreams is a man who procrastinates everything. If a man cannot show up for himself, he will not be able to show up for you. If a man is telling you that he got all these aspirations and goals, and you ask him about when he gonna start and it's always another time, he's never gonna be able to show up for you because he cannot show up for himself. He lacks discipline. He can't lead no household. He can't even lead himself in the direction that he want to go. So what about you being the neck and him being the head, baby? You cannot guide him because he can't even be a head. He letting you know right now he cannot be a head. He cannot even lead himself correctly. So that means that when you're trying to guide him, there's going to be resistance because he has a hard time with discipline. He has a hard time with structure. He has a hard time committing to things. There's so much that you can unpack when it comes to somebody procrastinating on something that they want to do. That is a red flag to me.
What's something I would never do again now that I'm divorced? I'm so glad you asked. I would never marry someone based on their potential. If you are in a relationship with someone and you want to get married to them, ask yourself if you are okay with this version of them, because you cannot make a person change. You cannot make a person heal. You cannot make a person be happy if they don't want to do any of those things. So you really have to be okay with this version of a person. Of course, they're going to change eventually, but it's going to be on their own time. It's going to be on their own speed, and it's going to be in a way that probably you are not wanting or expecting. So if I were to get married again, I would make sure that I was okay with marrying the version of the person that is right in front of me right now.
Here are some of the best advice I've gotten from women online over the years. You know, some of you will take advice from when somebody loses weight and comes and tells you this and this is what I did and I lost the weight. You take advice from that person because they've lived through the experience. And in so many other fields, it's like that. But when somebody who has done marriage, gone to hell and back, comes and gives you advice, you're like, no, you're scrolling. I don't want any negativity, because you want to always be part of the people that will teach the lesson. You should be able to learn from other people's mistakes. So let me tell you about some of the best advice I've heard here online from different divorced women who are sharing their experiences. Number one, love is not enough. You can love somebody deeply, but if your values do not align with theirs, if their habits do not align with yours, it will not work. Love will never fix incompatibility. Number two, marriage will never fix loneliness. If you were a lonely person before you got married, you will be a lonely person even during marriage. Yes, I know it sounds strange, but it's true. If you don't know how to be happy alone, you will not be happy in marriage. Marriage will amplify an existing problem. It will not take it away. Don't marry for potential. Don't marry somebody hoping that they are going to grow into the husband you've always dreamed of them being. The person you are dating is the person you will marry, and most times that person's attitude, that person's action will only get worse after marriage. Number four, a bad relationship can actually affect your health and your physical being. Constant stress, being in constant stress can cause sickness. It will impact your sleep, your energy, even your body. Be very careful. Divorce and breakup can be hard, but staying in a toxic relationship can actually cost you your life. Be prepared to marry the whole family. This talk of people saying, oh, it's you I'm marrying, not your family. I'm very sorry, but you're going to have a hard time in that marriage. Relationships will bring baggage, parents, siblings, responsibilities that the other person has been carrying. If that family does not accept you, you will have a very terrible time in that marriage. I mean, they will literally make life difficult for you in that marriage, and you cannot be the reason why your husband cuts off his family. You will live with that guilt. He will make you live with that guilt. Next, do your own thing. You must not do every single activity together. Have your own hobbies, your own interests that are outside of what your husband does. You must do your own thing and let him do his own thing. Separate your interests and maintain individuality. It makes your relationship healthier, not to be so codependent. There are many more advice like this, but I don't want this video to be too long.
These are two things I wish I would have been told before I had gotten married, now that I am divorced, that I wish my younger self would have chewed upon before I had even thought about getting married. The first thing is I would tell my younger self is don't commingle your finances. Do not commingle your finances. Ensure that you have your own separate account, that you have your own money going into, that only you track. It's one thing to have a shared account that you both agree to put some X amount in for shared expenses, but you have to remember that you are a separate entity outside that relationship. And the one way you can remember that is having your own resources, because things don't last forever. And we have to believe that as well. My divorce financially ruined me. I'm very honest with you. I lost everything.
10 things I wish I knew before getting married that could have saved me from divorce. Number one, I wish I had known that 21 was a very early age to make such a decision. Because at 21, you're still figuring out your life. Number two, that early proposal, especially the one that comes few days after meeting a man, is not a sign of love, but a sign of desperation. Number three, any man that would disrespect any member of his family in front of you has a full dose of toxic energy. And one day, this man will disrespect you just like that. Number four,
Impatience from a man, especially during wedding preparation, is not a sign of cannot wait to get married to you. Actually, it speaks volume about who he really is. Because a patient man is a calm man is a confident man, and a confident man is a very secure man. Number 5, your ideas and opinions are valid. If he wants to do things his way most of the time, it's a sign he's not ready to do life with you. Number 6, that he goes to church and says he's a Christian does not mean he's going to treat you right. He has to be disciplined with a set of values in place. Number 7, the family accepting and loving you is not enough. He has to love you absolutely first, and he has to respect you. In that way, he can protect you from any outside invalidations, including the ones that may come from his family. Number 8, marrying someone because your conversations click is a wrong move. Marriage has defined roles for each individual. So, other than the chit chat, you have to be able to recognize your own roles and stay accountable. Number 9, every individual should have somebody they listen to. This person is their accountability partner or their mentor, somebody they hold in high esteem. So that in the course of the marriage and your partner doesn't listen to you, you can call this person to call them to order before everything goes wrong. Number 10, marriage is serious business, and love alone cannot sustain it. It needs intention, it needs dedication and commitment to be able to be sustained.
Hi, I got married, had a baby, and got a divorce all within 5 years. And here are some things that I wish I would have critically thought through before getting married. Caveat before anyone gets their booty hole in a twist, but this is not disparaging to my ex-husband. I am so grateful for this journey. I would not have had my son, who is the joy of my life. But looking back and being a few years past it, these are the things that I look back on and I'm like, First thing being, this person knows you. Obviously, you know each other, but do they know you? Do they know what you're like when you're about to start your period? Do they know what you're like when you have had the worst day of your life? And looking back, even the gifts that someone gets you tells you how well that they know you. And I wish that I had really critically thought about that from the perspective of, we know each other and oh wow, it's so great, but do they really know you? Do they really know you? The second thing is, do you really understand what marriage means? And as a 22-year-old at the time, I thought I knew everything. And I grew up in a very conservative Christian household where you got married super young, you had like all of those things. And I don't think I really ever understood or critically thought about all of the things that are entailed when you are getting married. Yes, it is a lifelong commitment. You are going to go through the good and the bad and the ugly with this person. And yeah, it seems so like, duh, Courtney, of course you're going to have all of those things. But thinking about it critically, you're going to lose family members. There's going to be so much that happens in that lifetime. And are you sure this is the person that you can do that with? The last one is a little more specific, but what is going to happen inside of your marriage if your foundational beliefs that you align on, what if those things shift? If you have a marriage that is based on you guys agreeing on certain things or aligning on certain things, what happens to your relationship if those things shift? Does it fall into complete chaos? Are you able to work through it? Do you have a mutual respect for each other? All of these things are so important. And I know someone watching this is being like, yeah, no shit, duh, you should think of all these things. But when you're young and you're like, wow, marriage, wow, you're not really critically thinking about all of these things. Hindsight is always 20/20, and I'm super grateful for everything that happened. I just think back to those things and I'm like, wow, I thought I knew better than everyone.
As a divorced woman, this is what I wish someone told me before marriage. Number 1, don't choose the person you love. Choose the person who loves you. Love alone is not enough if respect, effort, and consistency are missing. Number 2, when someone shows you who they are the first time, believe them. You can't change them. Number 3, don't make him your whole world. Have your own life. When a relationship ends and they were your everything, your whole life comes crumbling down. Number 4, never quit your job or your career for any man. Always have your own money because you might need it someday. Number 5, never show a man that you can help him financially. Let him be the man. When the roles are reversed, it builds resentment. Number 6, marry a man who can provide and protect you. Someone who can pay the bills, not just financially stable, but also financially smart. Number 7, don't move in with his family unless it is absolutely necessary. Number 9, don't get pregnant because he wants a child. Get pregnant because you want one and you are emotionally and financially stable to have one. So,
here are 3 things I would have done differently when I got married if I had known what I know now. The first thing I would have done differently is to have a lot of things in writing. A lot of promises, a lot of things that we've said between ourselves, have it in writing. If it means you putting down your assets that you came in with together and write them down and then basically specify what you plan to do with them at the end if the marriage doesn't work, I would advise that you do that and make sure you get a lawyer to make it a legally binding document, get it signed and stuff. I would advise that because it just makes things easier if you do plan on getting a divorce later on. Second thing I would decide or I would have done with myself is also prep my mind if, for the worst to come. I know it sounds very bad, but the truth is I would have sat down and really considered where I was, who I was with, and the outcome of how our negative moments go. Because a lot of us get married on the whim of the happy moments, but we don't consider the bad moments. And unfortunately, the way life works is sometimes you can have a bad moment for a long period of time. So I would ask myself, can I cope with this bad period that if it was prolonged, maybe life was doing life and we couldn't necessarily be the most happiest version of ourselves? Could I cope with the not so happy version? Could I cope with the version of them that maybe might not necessarily be the most romantic or sweetest or lovely or whatever? I would have asked myself those questions because that would then determine my ability to do forever with someone. Obviously, no one's ever in a happy moment 24/7, but life does do life, and there are some times where you will find yourself unhappy, maybe going through mild depression or just not generally understanding where you are in life. And having someone to support you through that experience is so key. But then being with someone who doesn't understand support, or being with someone who seems to think that you have to do things on your own and they do it on their own, and figuring it out can determine the outcome of how you feel, how the situation goes, and a whole lot of things. And then the third thing I would have done differently until tomorrow is not have a big wedding. Okay, now this isn't to say don't have a big wedding. Celebrate everything. If you are someone who wants a big wedding, please celebrate and have fun. I'm just saying from my point of view, I probably wouldn't have had a big wedding because I genuinely don't think that it was something that I should have done. I think and truly believe that I should have kept it low-key because of one, spiritual ailments. We know how the spirit world works, but also I would have kept it low-key because I was already in a space where I wasn't too sure, especially the day before when things weren't great and stuff. So I was already I don't know if this is something I really should do. I don't know if this is going to be long term. I don't know how it's going to work. So already I was very iffy on it. The worst thing I could have done was then go ahead and have a really massive wedding because it just opened up a whole magnifying glass to my situation and kind of made me feel like I didn't really know. I mean, I knew what I was getting into. I mean, we all know what we're getting into, but the truth is I just always had this delusional mindset that when I get married, things will get better. That is a lie. Don't lie to yourself. When you get married, everything else will be pronounced. Whatever was once there will begin to be magnified and highlighted. And from there, you can then decide to make your move on how you want to move. But pretty much whatever was there just becomes amplified, pretty much. But yeah, those are the 3 things I would have done if I knew what I know now. Love you guys. Wow, a lot has been said. For me, right from time, I always know that getting married young is a no-no. When you are young and you get married, I see that as a red flag because you've not enjoyed life. There is more to this life than just getting married. I know getting married is a beautiful thing, but for me, getting married in your early 20s, I don't see that is not normal. Why are you in a hurry? And also opening a bank account with your partner. I would definitely not be doing that, because these days marriage is no longer forever. Marriage is like few months, and before you know it, or maybe a few years, before you know it, they are divorced. And also, like the other lady said, it's not really nice for you to have the surname of your partner if you are living in this part of the world, because it's very, very crazy. Because when you get divorced, you start changing name, changing document. Just maybe your name is, like me, I'm Joyce Dixon. If I ever decided to settle down and get married, like get married, I will still be keeping my name Joyce Dixon. I don't want to add any other name, no, because it's a lot of work, especially when you live in this part of the world. Getting divorced is a lot of work, you understand? And also marriage is something you need to really, really sit down, think, because people change. And the one that she also said that we should be the man in the marriage, like take all the responsibility. Yeah, I also key to that. But sometimes when you get married, situation comes and you don't have a choice than to support your partner. Anyway, that is different. What she was trying to say is that do not get married to somebody that you know cannot provide, somebody that don't even want to provide, somebody that feel relaxed that my wife is there, my wife is capable. Somebody like that will drain you. So ladies, we really, really, really have to sit down and think about this thing called marriage, especially when you are in your 20s. Where are you going to? Why are you in a hurry? You still have life to live. Enjoy it to the fullest, because people think marriage is like a continue of enjoyment. No, when you are married, in some cases enjoyment is done, especially when you marry to a man that don't have your time. You will be lonely. Do not get married thinking marriage is the way out. Some cases is the way out, while in some cases is not the way out. So my ladies, enjoy yourself, and also make sure you are financially stable as a lady before you venture into marriage. Have your own money before you venture into marriage, because when a man is taking care of you, if see you as a liability, see, a lot of things go on in this marriage. For me, I'm not married, but I'm living with my partner. I've seen a lot. I have friends that are married. I see, they tell me things. I hear things. I hear stories. Sometimes I'm asking myself, do I really want to get married, or should I just be enjoying just where I'm enjoying now? Because I'm enjoying myself right now. Nobody is telling me, you don't do this, you don't do that. Why? Because I'm married to you? No, I do whatever I like. You understand? So marriage is not a freedom. Don't think it's a freedom. It's like a little cage. So if you know you are ready, if that is a thing you see that you really want to do, maybe you really want to get married, it's very, very important that you sit down, think about this marriage. Because once you are married, it's not easy as you think to get a divorce when you are living in this part of the world. Divorce does not come easy. So this is something you really, really have to sit down and think about it. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. We've come to the ending of this video. Please don't hesitate to leave your comment down below and tell me what you think, and also give a like, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye y'all.